See you guys. See ya.
Happy out, Tim.
Good to see you.
All right, dude, you're gonna have to try to get in here. We're on vertical. I don't know why. Yo, what up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here, live at Dodgers Stadium with the Shohei Ohtani introductory press conference. I'm joined by NBC's Mr. Michael DeWard. You guys can follow him on the X. Michael, thanks for rocking with us. First question. So yes, it's about Ohtani, but we just learned a few seconds ago, Bob Nightingale standing right over there, broke the news about Tyler Glasnow to the Dodgers for Johnny DeLuca and Ryan Pepiot. The trade, we could see an extension. What's your reaction to that, Michael?
Yeah, so this makes sense for the Dodgers for a lot of reasons. I had been telling people I thought Andrew Friedman would get a free agent pitcher. That could be Yamamoto, it could be a Blake Snell, it could be a Lucas Giolito. I thought he would get a guy from a trade. We knew those guys were Cease, Burns, Glasnow. And I also thought there could be, a reclamation project of sorts. We saw Flaherty just signed with the Tigers. A guy of that ilk, a guy for fans out there, would be something along the lines of Tyler Anderson or Andrew Heaney of the past, guys they think they could, on a one-year deal, improve and boost up their numbers. So I still think there's room to go, but Glasnow fits the mark. It was in the final year of his deal. The Rays wanted to move him. I don't think they wanted to re-sign him. They wanted to get younger. They wanted to get pitching. If it's true, they're going to get Ryan Pepiot, a great young pitcher in return, and Johnny DeLuca, another great outfielder with a huge, huge ceiling of potential. So I like it for the Dodgers. I think Glasnow does sign that extension, and I think we're going to see him in blue, and I think there's still moves to go on this rotation.
Yeah, I was very curious to see the Dodgers fans' reaction to this trade as far as a negative reaction. Because, look, at the end of the day, they need a frontline starter. They need an ace. That is what Tyler Glasnow is when he's healthy. That's the big question. Last year, a career high, 120 innings pitched, 21 starts. If you can match that with the Dodgers, that's exactly what they need when they're trying to rebuild this rotation. Johnny DeLuca can play all three outfield positions. He's fast. He definitely has the potential. He's not a player that should hold up a deal. Ryan Pepiot, I love you, Ryan Pepiot. We'll probably text you later. But still, at his best, a number 3 starter. I think this is a no-brainer move. The only surprise, though, is an extension. I mean, what are we talking? I think we're close to $100 million on an extension. I mean, what do you make of that?
Yeah, that's the big thing. So they know the cap hit number for next year. I think his contract's $15 million, $25 on the cap for next season, or for this season, coming up 2024. And then the extension, you're right. Is it going to be 5 years, $100 million? It'll be interesting how long they want to extend him. Do they want to kind of put him in this Ohtani, Betts, Freeman partnership they kind of got going? Like, we're going to extend these years of all this core talent as long as we can. And to your point, yes, I don't think he's necessarily the ace. I think he's up there with Walker Buehler. In fact, fans are going to remember Walker Buehler and Tyler Glasnow went head-to-head in the 2020 World Series in the bubble in Texas. 2 starts for both.
Once he went deep on him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where fans will remember Glasnow. And then the ace that we're looking at is obviously another Japanese sensation, 2-time Cy Young Award winner in the Japanese equivalent in the Nippon League, and that is Yamamoto, who we're hearing is narrowing it down to maybe Yankees and Dodgers at this point. He's being recruited by Shohei Ohtani, his teammate from the World Baseball Classic with Japan. I think he's the big fish right now that the Dodgers want to land and partner with Ohtani for the next decade and let those guys go to work. And if so, that's your ace right there.
Yeah, and I will say that Bob Nightingale, who did break this story, was really on it as far as, by the way, give a shout out to Bruce for being on it. It was those original players that he had included in the deal. A lot of people have Yamamoto go to the Yankees right now. A lot of the momentum seems to be towards the New York teams. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. If you can find a way to get Yamamoto, you have Glasnow. Yes, there are going to be some doubts because of the injury history. When I say ace, I mean ace-level stuff. The upside potential is absolutely there. I trust this organization to do everything they can to try to keep him healthy, to maximize what they have in him. And look, it's a situation where if the Dodgers trade for you, they trade for you for a reason because they believe in your stuff. So Santa Clarita kid, 6'8", fangirls are going to love him. I mean, he's going to be very popular in Dodger Stadium, so I love the move for Glasnow. I'm surprised that it was met with any type of negative reactions just because of the potential he has and what this team needs. It's another example of a move, not for the regular season, it's a move for the postseason. And you signed Shohei Ohtani, you already won 111 games a few years ago. You won 100 games last year. This team is not caring about NL West titles anymore. It's about winning in October. Glasnow, if he's right, his stuff takes a backseat to no one, but I think it's absolutely a no-brainer move. Now, the other big question, though, is from an inning standpoint, Yamamoto, first year, if you do make that signing, is he a guy you're going to say, okay, give me 150 to 200 innings? Glasnow, we've never seen more than 121. Walker Buehler on a pitch count. I mean, someone's got to fill these innings. I mean, Bobby Miller's ready to go. You do still have some depth. I still need another piece like a Lucas Giolito type who is posted. He's someone that's a great innings eater as far as being able to go deep into games. I still think you need 2 aces and then that third guy. So they're not done yet. But by the way, let's be honest here. This trade was probably finalized that they just didn't want to have any distractions about today. Let's not bury the lead here. We are here to celebrate Shohei Ohtani. Michael, what was your biggest takeaway from today's press conference?
So the biggest takeaway, of course, for fans out there, we finally learned the name of Shohei Ohtani's dog. It is
Decoy.
Dicklebean.
We both heard Dicklebean.
Yeah,
but
spelled a little differently. But actually, I heard, for fans that don't know from some of these Japanese media here, Dicklebean is when I flick your forehead. So that is what in Japan.
Really?
Like if you're a little kid and you get something wrong, that is what a
Wow.
Dicklebean is.
Don't
And
do that to Shohei. You'll lose your credential very quickly here.
Decoy is very not a Dicklebean. A decoy is a very weird name. Decoy is actually what most of the media was doing.
Decoy was the plane.
Ohtani
Was the
free
plane with
agency.
Rob
That was the
Hertzberg. Rob
plane,
Hertzberg
yeah.
was the decoy.
Yeah, so that was the fun takeaways. We finally learned the dog's name was Decoy, and Shohei brought it up throughout this day, how much time he spent in this free agency process, letting his agent and the teams do everything, and he just hung out with his dog waiting till those final numbers came in to make it the decision. But the thing we learned from this press conference that none of us had learned before, especially because we hadn't heard Shohei Ohtani speak in 4 months, was in his meeting here at Dodger Stadium with the Dodgers a couple Fridays ago, I believe. He said the Dodgers came in and they said, hey, the last 10 years we've made the playoffs consecutively. We've made something like 6 NLCSs, 3 World Series appearances, and 1 World Series championship in 2020. That decade of dominance was a failure, they told Shohei Ohtani, a complete failure. That ring to him is like, I haven't even sniffed the postseason in 6 years. That's a real failure. But you're telling me what you did the last 10 years was a failure? And me needing to get you over the top, kind of like when the Warriors recruited Kevin Durant? I like that from that angle, and that's something that was interesting we learned. And to piggyback off of what you said, that tells me this is all about winning. For Shohei, the way he structured his contract, the way he lowered that CBT number to around $48 million, to let them go get a guy like Tyler Glasnow, because obviously Ohtani can't pitch next season, to still be going after Yamamoto, in fact, bringing him and Freddie Freeman and Will Smith to the table when that meeting with Yamamoto happened just the other day. That is another example of that winning. And to your point, looking ahead at the postseason, let's get the young guys, the Michael Groves of the world, the Bobby Millers. Let's get those guys to carry the load of the marathon of the 162-game season. Landon Knack's another guy. We got a lot of them. We were talking about this, you and I, just personally. Let's get those guys to kind of carry us through the finish line. And let's bring back Clayton Kershaw right around the All-Star break.
He's got to be a
Fresh,
part of this.
Healthy.
He has to be a part of this.
He's got to come back.
Yeah.
He did not want it to end the way it did. That's what he said. He could be in that postseason rotation. And now you're looking at Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Tyler Glasnow, Yamamoto. That's a nasty postseason rotation that you would be using.
Yeah, Michael, I think that was a fantastic point. And that, to me, is what resonated most with me from this press conference, is that the Dodgers, they were able to sell their vision to Shohei, and that was their commitment to winning. And I think that everyone thought it was a foregone conclusion that he was going to sign with the Dodgers because of the location, because of the money, but still there was a courtship. And when they were in meetings, that is what stood out to him. And I think that, look, that's the number one thing. Just look at what he did with the deferments, with the contract. So, look, this is an organization that they realize that they need to probably win multiple World Series titles for people to look back and say this is a success when you consider all the talent that they do have. But look, they went out there, they set an objective, they made him their top priority, and they did it. They signed him. We were all here. This has to be a record turnout for a press conference. There was like more people here than a Rays game, essentially. I mean, when you look at where we're at, I mean, just
You're not wrong.
I mean, there were so many people here. I just could not believe it. But another thing, too, was just kind of how he answered the Tommy John situation and hearing Nez talk about it, his agent, after the fact. It sounds to me that it wasn't some negotiating ploy. It feels like it wasn't your standard Tommy John, and that he is a lot. He's ahead of the game, really. He's definitely at a point where I think we're going to see him a lot sooner than people realize. And also, most importantly, I don't think it's going to impact him at the plate early on next season.
Yeah, and so to your point, maybe it wasn't actually they pulled a ligament from somewhere else in his body and reinserted it in the elbow like you would do with the normal Tommy John. Maybe it was a repair of that ligament. Regardless, he had the elbow procedure. But even speaking to him and his agent, he's bouncing back a lot quicker. He feels a lot different and like he's recovering faster than when he went through this the first time with the first Tommy John. So that's a good sign. He even said himself he thinks he might be throwing a pitch around spring training somewhere in that aim so to get back on the mound, not this season, but in 2025. And to your point, and I've been saying this throughout the free agency process, even throughout the kind of tail end of last season, because we knew once the trade deadline came that Ohtani's going to be a free agent at the end of this year, and any team can sign him. And the only thing we had heard from him, because he's a very private guy, very kind of secrety, shy guy, the only thing we really heard from him was he wanted to win. He prioritized winning. That's what Andrew Frieden told you when he went on your show with you. Like, if he wants to win, we're the team, and that gave them confidence that they could sign him. And I've been saying the same thing. You can talk the talk, but can you walk the talk? And if you're going to walk the talk, Shohei Ohtani, the only team of the suitors that were there where you're going to have a chance to go to the postseason each and every year and win World Series titles, outside of, I would say, the Astros, is the Dodgers. And he backed up that talk. He finally walked the talk, and I appreciate him for that because it does prioritize.
Looks like Lance, wrap it up. Yeah, no, absolutely. And just wrapping this up, absolute superstar, looked great in Dodger blue, larger than life. I think he's come to this organization at the perfect place in his career. He's won the MVPs, about win the championships, but that's going to do it from here at Dodger Stadium. Doug McCain here. So, of course, Michael Duarte, thank you so much for joining us. You can follow him on Twitter. Give him a follow on the X, also on Instagram, also on the TikTok. He's out on TikTok as well. And we'll chat with you guys soon, do a full breakdown of today and the Tyler Glasnow trade. But that's going to do it for now. And think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.